Good afternoon. This is the video newsletter for Buy Sell Short for Friday, April 22nd. Very nice week. What started off as a really boring, annoying, and frustrating week, the last couple of days turned out to be fantastic. Of course, a 300-point rally and the Dow and the tech giants blowing their earnings out didn't hurt matters. Looking at the Dow daily chart, you can see this is a pretty bullish setup we have here. We have had a nice bounce off the 50-day moving average on the Dow daily chart, and what appears to be starting here is a stair-step action on the Dow. The break through the previous high at 12,450 and this breach of the 12,500 area, we could really see a move on that 13K level over the next month. Very possible. We got a positive MACD cross on the Dow daily chart. Stochastics look really nice, as does on balance volume. And, they've got another month or so to jam us into the possible end of QE2 and the Fed liquidity that's just been powering us higher over the last several months. Looking at the Dow daily chart, really all we're looking at here is that golden cross that we saw on Thursday that happened around 11 or 12,425. Remember, the average gain on a Dow golden cross on the 15-minute chart is about 150 points going back for the last 3 or 4 years, and so far we are up almost 100 points. So we've got some nice upside early next week, barring any bad news. SMH probably needs to rest here given the big gap that it's had over the last 2 days. So possible upside here would be a move up to 36. But we'd like to see this hold above the 50-day moving average. Even some weakness in the SMH next week early probably won't hurt the overall indices. Now, a big concern still out there, of course, is the price of oil, which all of a sudden is starting to really run when we have big up days in the market. There's a direct correlation with it, especially over the last couple of weeks. For now, that's okay, but we are in the danger zone in oil prices, and the fact that we haven't seen a pullback below the $100 mark, when this happened back in 2008, when they were unable to push oil back below 100, that's when we saw that recession-causing push up to $140 over the next couple of months. So we really need to see oil prices start to back down. Probably what's going to happen is we could see oil continue to move over the next 4 or 5 weeks until the end of the QE2. So what we could potentially be looking at is a move to Dow 13K, oil to the 120s, and then everything dumps in June initially on the end of QE2. But at least for now, we should be in store for some nice happy times in small and mid cap. Looking at the Russell 2K, the small cap index, you can see again it bounced nicely off that 50-day moving average. Stochastics looks great on the small cap index, and we're about to get a positive MACD, which when that happened back in early March, powered us 10% higher over the next 3 or 4 weeks. So looking very good for small caps in the near term. But let's jump into some stock plays. ACAD, monster winner for us this past week. Was a little frustrating as it started to get going, but we've been waiting for the last month, saying repeatedly that this was a rule of 2 stock, and the rule of 2 stocks, especially fresh ones, always give the best moves, and our 220 target hit on the nose and actually ended up giving some more. We had a 239 intraday high, so it hit our third target, which is fantastic. Now this little candle we have here, we could see some weakness early next week, but so what? We got our 50-cent move out of this one over the course of 3 sessions, 20-25% move. You cannot ask for anything better. Be interesting to see how this one acts on a pullback. Would be very attractive if we saw a dip back to the 210 area for another possible 10 to 15 cent bounce. ACLS was a trading alert on Friday. We jumped into this one at 230. First target was 250 to 256, that 50-day moving average, and then we have the downtrend line resistance up there at the 260s. As you can see, just a solid bounce over the last 2 days on this one. RSI breaking up through 50. The positive MACD on Wednesday, or on Thursday, sorry, drove this one nicely higher. MACD crosses, positive MACD crosses on a lot of these plays over the last few months have been given some very nice intraday moves. So definitely, at least for right now, this is a technical that is working very, very well. Stochastics also, like I said, this is exactly what I love seeing on bottomed out plays, is stochastics coming up through the 20 level. Gives me further confidence in the play that we're doing. Now, what we could see happen, that happened on this last move back in March, was a big move, then a red day, and then it continued higher. So I would be looking, hopefully, to possibly pick up a new scalp position on this one on a dip under 240. 237 to 240 might be attractive on a dip come Monday. API, Advanced Photonics, very nice potential play here. We jumped into this one at $1.60. Breakout is 180, and this could definitely see a move to the 190, 210 area next week. The chart looks very similar to what happened back in mid-March, mid to early March, where it was the same sort of setup. Positive MACD cross, went from $1.60 to 210 over 4 days. That was a 30% move. Here we are, same sort of start up on the chart. We are about to get a positive MACD cross, probably Monday, Tuesday at the latest. And stochastics, just like it was back then in March before that big move, under 20 on stochastics and starting to curl up. So very, very nice chart setup here. And given that this looks so nice right now, stops were $1.58. I'd keep my stops at $1.56 or $1.55 even. I think this chart setup is worth a little bit of risk, given that we could see potentially some nice rewards. OPXT, this is another optic play that we are playing in the chat room. We just nailed this one on Thursday morning. We jumped into it on the early dip at 234, and it ended up running almost 10% over the next couple of hours. Nice chart setup here. You can see we've got a rectangle here. Breakout is 260. Strong support is 220. I really don't think we will see this one dip under 230 again. The reason for the big sell-off, these guys ended up having to warn because they've got a lot of product in Japan. So, I think the warning is out of the way here. They've got cash. Chart looks bottomed out. Close above the 20-day exponential. Could be a nice week on OPXT. This one, though, loves to dip and rip, so we'd love to see a pullback again under the 240 area to pick up another scalp position. Or you can probably jump into this one a little early on a 255, 256 break for a possible move to that 50-day moving average up there at 289. Volume has started to increase over the last couple of days. Stochastics are pointing to the upside, and we're starting to see a little uptick in on-balance volume. So this techie looks pretty good going into next week. OPWV, smartphone player. Nice action at the 200-day moving average, essentially over the last week and a half. Breakout is a close above 210. This can be a frustrating stock to play, but as you can see, when it moves, both up and down. We've already had the down move. We've got a consolidation here. I'm thinking next week we're going to see that up move, possibly to the 230, 220, at least 230 plus area. We are about to get a positive MACD cross on this one. Stochastics are also about to tip or pop up above the 20 level. So the indicators are ready on this one. Stops $2. So we've got 6 cents, 7 cents downside, and potentially 20% plus upside, or 20 cents, 10% plus upside over the next week. NEI. Great volume on Wednesday, thanks to the EMC report, and then volume just disappeared again on Friday. Earnings is what's going to light this stock up. As I've repeatedly said, these guys get 57% of their earnings for EMC. EMC is just hitting the cover off the ball. The stock is up massive recently. Let's check out the EMC chart. Just a huge breakout on its earnings report. Goes without saying, if you're a company and you're getting almost 60% of your revenues from a stock or a company like this and they're blowing the doors off, you don't need a rocket science degree to figure out that these guys are probably going to do well on the earnings report this Thursday. So going to be taking some home into earnings. I think they're going to beat. We are about to get a nice little move on this one. Stochastics looks ready. We're probably going to need volume of 1 million or a close over 210. And, if earnings are as good as I think they're going to be, we could see a move up to 250 plus. And, downside on a bad report, you're probably looking at $1.80. So 20% upside, 10% downside. This is definitely a stock I think is going to see the threes sometime this year. I think this is the earnings report that is going to start that move. Quick mention on Mad Cats. They did that financing on Monday, but the stock has been cooking nicely at its 50-day moving average over the last couple of days. Maybe another day or two hanging around at the 50-day moving average, and we could see a pop back up above 2. Or what I'd probably be looking at is to buy a break of 2 on MCZ or pick some up in the 180s if we see its peers COOL or GLUU start a move next week. But, continues to be a long-term gem. The financing news, in my opinion, was good for the medium to long term. We are consolidating that sell-off and getting ready for another move higher in the near term. NVAX, Novax, nice scalper play over the last few days. It's been consolidating nicely. Breakout is 270. Target is 3. So we continue to wait on this one. We are about to get a positive MACD cross in this one, and that should power us higher. Volume dipped over the last 2 days, probably ahead of the long weekend. Let's see if that volume comes back in again on Monday. Sirius, check this baby out. Starting to finally move. Next rule of 2 play, just like ACAD, we're looking for a 220 target. We jumped into this one on the 188 break. Stops on that would be at the 20-day exponential 180 and looking to add to our positions on a break of 2. Nice move on this one. More than overdue for a run back into the 2s. And as I've said many, many times, this is a stock, once it breaks 2, really could go on a big run. So this stock needs a crap load of shares to move. So it's one you buy and you essentially forget about it. And then you look back and go, whoa. I mean, Sirius was up 5 cents yesterday. That was actually a big move for this stock. But over the next few days, I could definitely see this one making a move to 220. And I believe we'll see the volume explode and the stock start to move a lot easier on a break of 2. So let's see if that happens early next week. WEBM, Web Methods. We've tried this one quite a few times, but one of its peers, QPSA, exploded over the last couple of days. And the last time this stock went on a big run was on December, when it did the same thing. It essentially ran up almost 100%. Back in that same time, we had QPSA do exactly the same thing. It ran 100% as well with QPASA. So breakout 150, why not? If we get a break of 150, it did get a big spike on sort of small volume on Monday, and then it's been consolidating over the last couple of days. A break of 150 on volume really could take them in, and we could see that move back to that 170 plus area. Very strong support at $1.30. Would make for a good risk pickup as long as QPSA is moving anywhere in the 130s. So that is it for the video. We've got some very nice setups, and things are looking like are in store for a very nice week next week. So any questions on the video or plays, feel free to send me an email. Otherwise, hit me up in the chat room on Monday, and have a great Easter, everyone. Goodbye.